This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
I'd like to call to order the May 15th, 2024 meeting of the Easthampton Historical Commission. First order of business is public speak.
Madam, anything? Want to do a dance?
There's no one.
No, it's your chance. All right.
Okay, approval of the April 10th, 2024 minutes.
Thank you for writing them up. They're nice notes. I would make a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on April 10th.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, correspondence. Do we have anything from the...
Yeah, so the Town Lodging House, 75 Oliver Street, the archaeological dig began on Monday, and it will continue this week and next week, weather permitting. We're just expecting it to be about 2 weeks. And Valley CDC is managing the project. The permits were approved by Mass Historical Commission. Any artifacts that are found will be cataloged and documented, and there's a custodial agreement with, I forget which organization it is at the moment. We tried to get the Historical Society in Easthampton to have a custodial agreement, but they couldn't be reached. So a different historical society was found to custodian them until the local historical society could get on board for it.
Do you know which?
I have it written down somewhere, but I don't have it off the top of my head.
Okay. Thanks.
Next, we could probably put this under correspondence. I did talk to Dave Boyle concerning the history. Yeah, he's easy to get hold of. He answers my calls. But I spoke to him, and he said he's kind of on the same boat as everybody else. He got kicked out too.
Yep, scrapers.
So,
Because we had reached out to him to get in touch
yeah,
with.
he said the only number he had was the one that's like listed. So he says, well, she should return calls, but I didn't bother. I mean, she's in Florida evidently, or
And she doesn't live in town, that's what's the kicker.
Yeah.
She lives in Southampton.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to go with this. I mean there's got to be some kind of legal.
There is, but someone has to complain to someone at the state level about, charters and misuse of.
Are there charters for a historical society?
There must be. I mean, they're public. There's a public benefit, a public good.
Well, how can there be charters if she can kick people out?
There's got to be a board of directors. There's got to be there's a tax exempt thing. They have to comply. And if she's, if there's no one on the board except for her, then that's not a board of directors.
Right.
So she's in violation. I don't know enough about it, but I'm sure that someone who's enterprising and dug into it could figure out a way to turn things
Well,
around.
if you can never get a hold of her, how can you even find out if there is a board at all?
Because there's filings with the state that, they're a tax exempt organization.
So she probably has some annual stuff that she's doing.
She's got to be doing.
Or not doing,
So where would you find out about it?
including the
I
actual.
don't know. You'd have
the
to.
property itself,
We'd
which
have
she
to
probably.
dig into it. Someone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Where would you dig into it? That's the...
Have the Gazette on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know because it's not my area of expertise. I would probably start with the secretary. I'd probably start with the Secretary of State, you know, and they're the, you know, the they keep track of all this stuff, and they could probably at least direct you in the right direction as to.
So David got kicked out too.
That's what he's indicated.
I
He
saw
was
the
kind of on the
letters when
outs,
she
yeah.
kicked Roma and Bob Schwab out.
Yeah. He said he's been kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily like legally, you know, there's a letter and all that, but.
Well, it
basically
doesn't
she
sound like
wouldn't
anything
deal
has
with
been
it.
legal,
No.
so,
Right.
shady.
Okay, anything else?
There will be a report that's written that documents the process, the findings, the objects, the artifacts that are found, etc.
Okay.
And expect that to be, the city will receive it within like 2 to 3 months after completion of the dig.
Okay.
When you say the city will receive it, will we, like that, will that be like public knowledge of what was found, or will we at least get to see?
Often,
How
well,
does
so
that work?
I don't know, because sometimes these things end up being confidential because of archaeological. They're not doing the entire site.
Mhm.
They're doing small locations,
Plots,
plots, to try to understand whether or not
There's
anything, like if nothing's found,
Mhm.
then that's fine. But but that's unlikely that nothing will be found. It'll
Mhm.
probably be like a lot of like
bottles.
nails and
Nails.
bottles and
Mhm.
you know, bits of silverware or scraps, this trash, things that.
Broken plates.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of like stuff that's not really, probably. So like if that's, but they tend not to want to publicize the like archaeological reports, because then that can encourage folks to
To go digging.
because they will not have removed
Gotcha.
everything. They'll
Right.
only whatever they,
sample
and what they
areas.
and where they dig and they find things, those are cataloged, removed and cataloged.
Mhm.
They're not just put back and then
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
so the report can definitely be requested
Mhm.
and viewed. It might be redacted, or there might be
Okay.
you know, it might be shared with the historical commission, and then the Mass Historic Commission,
Mhm.
but it might not be something that we post publicly on the website.
Gotcha.
I won't know that until we see the contents of the report, and then I ask the archaeologists.
Okay. Fair enough.
What can we do with
I was
this?
just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Was there any,
But if it can be shared, it will be shared.
Okay.
was there any bodies found?
Well, then that will definitely be shared.
That, I'm
Um,
hoping that doesn't happen. It seems like it's
Well,
possible.
okay.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So the canal, Carl Walter sent me an email. Wants to, he talked to the Emily Williston Library about getting a computer there. She wants confirmation from us that we were okay with it. So basically I'm bringing it to you people. Everybody's okay with it?
Sounds
So the-
like a
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
idea.
The
Yeah.
Wilson Library would take it.
Yes. Yep, but she wanted us to say that it was okay with us.
Yes.
So, is it okay with us?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
make a move that we send a letter to say that it's perfectly fine,
Okay.
to receive the computer and whatever's on it.
All in favor?
Second.
Yes, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Carl Walter Canal Talks. I know we spoke about it last time. We want to keep it on the agenda.
Hmm.
I was thinking, would City Space be a good place for that? You have that room downstairs.
Yeah, the blue room.
Blue room.
Yeah, that would be great.
But just thinking of when, you know, I mean, is it something that would be, you could move into
Is
like
that-
an
is
art
it-
walk night or?
I mean, we could. It sounded like he wanted to have like a 2-hour, like he wanted like a significant chunk of time,
Okay,
and I would make it. I would think that not competing with other events
right,
is
yeah.
probably.
Well, I was trying to think like, can we get people to show up too, but if he wants that much time, it's probably not feasible then.
I mean, I think if it's more than a half hour, it's
Yeah.
hard to do things like that on Art Walk, because it's like,
Oh,
The
that's-
whole
that's
event's
fine.
only-
That's fine, I don't have a problem with that, was just a thought that occurred to me that, like, well, maybe that would work, but.
and does the Blue Room downstairs, I haven't been there since they remodeled it. Does that have good like, screens and present sight
I
lines?
don't know what they have. I mean,
Well,
we
they have-
got the,
they've
we
had
got the
a
high school, we got,
That would be another place.
with nothing at the new school, right? It's kind of confined gym and whatnot. The high school theater, an auditorium.
That's a big space, but it would be a nice space.
Yeah, it would be a nice space.
If you'd like to get it, anywhere we do it, it'd be nice to get it recorded by Easthampton Media
Right.
and mic'd properly and all that,
Yeah.
so.
Actually, then that would probably be a good place for it, the high school, don't you think? They would have that kind of stuff set up already.
I don't know.
Or such a brand new building.
Okay, so,
Or maybe at Williston, if there's a,
Mm-hmm.
I know he did Williston before, years ago.
yeah.
I saw that.
So it's three possibilities.
But the high school's nice because of parking though, too.
Yep.
Let's try for the high school, then.
Mm.
I
I'm,
think we've got to do a lot of advertising for it. I mean, did you see the paper today and all the stuff on Williamsburg?
The flooding,
the
yeah,
flood.
that's a well choreographed.
Yeah, and there was a nice
Thing.
ad about it in the paper, plus a whole schedule
For the, yeah,
listed
each
in
town.
the paper.
Yeah.
are there any historic events that we want to try to latch on to?
That's what I'm trying to think of.
I can't remember if Carl said he was trying to do this in Northampton as well, or whether this could be something that was a joint
I
thing.
think he wanted to do each town individually.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
He kind of gave us
Couldn't remember.
a snapshot of what it was like, I think,
Mm-hmm.
where he's like, here's an interesting tidbit from something, someone got,
Mm.
fell off a boat here and there was a newspaper article about it, and he
Mhm.
like zooms in and gets to
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
And there's just too many data points to do
Mm.
the entire canal, so
Sure,
he'd be
sure.
focusing on East
Yeah,
Hampton.
which is fine. I mean, it's, but yeah, so we need to find a space first, and then a time, and sponsors.
Yeah, and I guess I would say that we probably want to confirm with him what dates
Right. Yeah.
work.
Oh, absolutely.
Bef-
It'd probably be the,
Or get some dates from him to begin with.
Right.
And then
Well, I think
from there.
probably sort out what's available when, and, and the same thing with video recording and all that, the media, make sure that all can be in place, and then try to coordinate with him.
Yeah, I guess I'm, like the schools, it won't be hard to get space in the schools
Right.
after the end of the school year.
Yeah.
But they do charge like a custodial fee to open the building, close the building. And probably the same for most places, like there needs staff member to be on.
Right. Yeah,
If
everybody's
it
in
was
charge of
done,
something.
if it was done in the municipal building, if we expected less than 70 people, we could do it upstairs.
All the way upstairs.
But sometimes
That's okay.
that space is like a little bit more formal maybe than,
Yeah, it's kind of, we have video and all that set up, right? And, Easthampton Media is already there,
yep.
in a sense. So it might be all right. I
Um,
don't know, I wouldn't expect over 70 people. Would you?
Probably not.
Probably not, right.
I mean, it'd be amazing if it was, but
Okay, well, let's look more into it.
Yeah,
The municipal space would be good,
the which space?
hmm?
And
Municipal.
and city space would also be a place that we could do it for.
Yeah,
No.
I can, Yeah, I kind of like the city space idea.
Parking there is more of a issue though.
Yeah.
And parking here would be easy too.
For me.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, you can walk.
Um,
Did you notice they got rid of all this stuff on Main
It's
Street?
about time. Why did they even do that in the first place?
oh, come on. You liked it.
I hated it. It's a thing. It's a sign of what's going to come to Northampton. They're going to do the same
yeah.
thing there.
Well, I like driving through wasn't so bad, except it was a little tight going through the crosswalk. But
Mhm.
Parking was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
I don't have to worry about that.
I had heard that Antonio's had lost 12% of their business. Well,
I can
Well, that's
believe
what they
it.
said the first week, but I don't know.
I can believe it.
Casey had a great business, so
Who did?
Casey,
Oh,
Yeah.
Galaxy.
see.
So I mean, like it's like,
Yeah, but what
and people,
happens with
yeah,
parking?
people would adjust to it.
What happens with parking if the library goes in there and all the spaces that Casey uses at night are not gonna be, you know?
Oh, I mean, parking's gonna be a problem no matter what you do.
Parking's always a problem.
Yeah.
Unless we take
But
more
if you
space.
put bike lanes in and make it a pedestrian friendly place, you actually see that there's more. It more people end up coming and overall revenue.
Put the bike
Increases
lanes behind
for-
the buildings.
What's that?
Put the bike lane behind the buildings.
No, we want it on the street. We want people to go slow.
You know,
Traffic calming, so people don't get hit by
If
so
if
people don't
we,
get
if we
hit by
go
cars.
back like 100+ years, we could have trolleys that just go from town to town all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, any canal updates besides what we had last month?
Sorry, so just for the going back a second for the canal talks, is there a action item
For?
for the Carl Walter Canal Talk?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like,
I just want to make sure that we don't, if we're like, we just don't talk about it for a year before we.
oh, yeah.
So if the action item is.
I mean, you know, I guess my suggestion would be figure out what spaces are available first. And what kind of resources we already have there. So,
I guess I've done enough of these to know that if we can find if we have 2 months notice, we can find any space to make it, and we can make
Okay.
it work. We just need to know we would need to know what his availability
I
is,
can reach out to Carl.
and picking a date or time, like if we want to do it on like a weeknight or a weekend.
I have to reach out to him anyway, so.
But I guess I would say not to do it on a Saturday night, but
No,
No,
no.
or a Friday night, but
I probably like on Wednesday or
Thursday.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
And also, I mean, we know that he'll have possible restrictions because
Yeah.
of taking care of his wife.
Yeah.
So if we can find out what his availability is, maybe like a Sunday
I
afternoon.
think that's number one.
Maybe like a Sunday afternoon works best, and like
Mm-hmm.
an afternoon event, and then we can once we know what his availability is, then we can very easily find.
All right,
I think
sounds good.
yeah.
Any other updates?
No updates. No.
Okay, how about the signage?
Okay, so
Brian sent some stuff along, right?
I've printed out what he sent us.
It's like green with beige, is that what it?
Yeah, printed in black and white, but it's 18 by 18, made of reflective aluminum. Colors are tan on green as per the attached. So the writing is tan and the background is green.
Thank you.
Feet is not very deep.
Not at all.
Looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
It's a readable typeface.
Unless it's Kelly green.
Yes, it's, this is the green.
Oh,
more
that's
of like- it's more of
tasteful.
like a- it's
That's
more of
really
like a
tasteful.
It's
Yeah.
Forest, it's like a
Yeah.
forest
Oh,
green.
it's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Looks historic.
I was gonna look for it. Bob had a bunch of stuff that's for Stop and Shop, and they were gonna be down there, Bob Road.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a file somewhere that he had handed me when he left the commission. Start some thoughts on it. I haven't had a chance to go through it. I don't know where it is right now. But
What do we think about the wording?
it's okay. Well, I can just send you this.
You can do that. I prefer that actually, because
Yeah. Let's see. Two. Um, I think I'm okay with the wording. So you want an answer right away?
Yeah, I think he'd like a vote from the committee tonight, unless we're like, have concerns about it and we need more time, but he's pushing
I mean,
to,
they're also willing to do a little more besides this, right? At this point.
I mean, this is-
According
this
to
is-
last meeting.
this
They said that
is,
they were gonna reach out to that other, thing, we were talking about some bench or something like that, if I recall correctly.
On that street where he's putting this, with it, I don't remember him saying he would put a bench, or they would.
yeah,
put a
I just
bench.
thought it was gonna be a sign behind the building.
Or on that dead-end street, right?
Yeah.
That's right, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's right now, they're gonna put the sign up on the edge of the property.
Mhm.
It's gonna stay there throughout their entire construction period, and then it'll be whatever, it'll, because this is part of their pre-construction approval requirements from the planning board.
Mm.
That they have to put up a sign approved by the historical commission. So they won't be granted their building permit until they've satisfied this condition. But as soon as the commission says it's good,
Then they're gone.
then they're done with this. So, if you want more time to think about it,
Let's make them wait.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, to see what else is in that packet. Would feel anything different, and it's probably gonna be about the same, but just like to take a look at it. If that's not an issue, you wait till, tentative approval at this point or whatever. What's today? Today's
The 15th.
already almost the end of the month.
depending on your perspective,
Excuse me?
it's the 15th.
15th,
It's
yeah.
the beginning of the
Not,
month.
not even halfway
Yeah,
through.
not
It's the
even
beginning of the end.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
not even.
Ides, the Ides of May.
May, Ides of May, that's right. The next one would be the 12th. I don't know, if somebody wants to make a motion to approve it, then that's fine. We can vote on it. If not, then we'll wait. So,
I mean, I guess I would be curious.
Well, I'm just curious to see what else was in that, if there was anything that was nicer than that or better than that, or stated better than that. But it's kind of like a mystery to me at this point.
Yeah, and I guess I would look through, or I'd encourage you all to look through the report that Shannon Walsh put together for the canal,
Right.
and see if because that's a few hundred pages, and there's obviously a lot more to the canal than just 5 sentences, but how do you condense it from, 100 pages to 5 sentences.
Yeah.
Are there other canal signs around in the area that folks have seen and like?
Where
Where's the
are
one?
any of them?
There's the one in Southampton at the lock. On 10.
Outside of that, I've only seen them in Connecticut.
And what do they say? Do you like what they say?
They're not, they're kind of generic.
Kind of
ones
like
that-
this?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Where have you seen them? Okay.
Oh, like from the New Haven area. And there's a lot of signage I've seen in New Haven and whatever the town is that's north of there. So I don't know how far north that goes up.
I don't know, is 4 weeks gonna screw up their project? I doubt it.
No.
Let's wait till next meeting. Everybody's okay with that, yes?
Yeah.
Right. Cemetery projects, do you hear anything back from Shannon?
I did not.
Okay. So we're still waiting to hear from her. She's putting together a proposal? Is that what
Yeah, I think that we asked her to do that.
Yes, you did. Okay. No, metal detecting on city property. No. We'll have a different bear every time that gets done. And the sign program, I haven't had time to do or the energy to do any of that. Do we have anything on the clock or the school reuse or anything else?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
I know Jeff was taking the lead on the clock, and
Who is
Jeff,
Jeff.
you know, the former city planner.
He's gone, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So you took the clock with him?
I mean, so no one's, it's no one's.
Yeah,
He was taking the lead on it, and
Jeff left.
Jeff, look.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's
somebody told me last week.
That's not
I
New
didn't
Haven,
know.
that's one.
I haven't
You didn't
heard.
know?
No,
You didn't get invited to the going away party?
I haven't heard that they're
Everybody's
looking for.
leaving.
They say 88 miles.
What's
It
that?
That's-
says 86.
Oh,
Yeah, see?
2 miles longer.
It's the same canal.
Oh, Farmington.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's not the New Haven one, but it's.
It's the same
No.
thing, right?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. Different
Alright.
location.
what's it called? The Hampshire Hampden Canal. It was the New Haven,
Northampton.
Northampton Canal, right?
Two H's,
Two H's.
yeah.
Northampton, New Haven, but I think
This is the Hampshire
stretch-
and Hampton section.
Right.
So it should say like New Haven, Northampton Canal.
Salmon Brook.
And then it says like Hampshire and Hampden section.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's accurate, though. I mean, you have to actually talk to Carl about that.
Well, it's probably in the report.
Channels
It's true.
report, yeah.
Okay. Signage, still up there.
So do you have no boss now?
Yeah, I haven't had a boss since March. April? When was his last day? April 3rd or something? March 28th or something like that.
So you're gonna apply?
I did apply and I didn't get it.
What?
Well,
That's messed up. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
are you bitter now?
I'm
That's
better.
that's not on the agenda.
Yeah, that's not on the agenda.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we don't want to get something thrown at us or something.
Nice.
What's that?
That was the one I remembered, but there's no information, but it's
No.
just the grander size.
We have in
And I-
Northampton Railroad, the canal line. Nice.
And that kind of like peppered
Yeah.
their bike trail there.
Well, this also is gonna be in a spot where,
No one's gonna see it.
yeah, not too many people are gonna see it, which is
Right.
unfortunate.
But those that do see it will maybe be interested and maybe
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, maybe it'll,
Now that there's information out there.
Well, if it were put on the rail trail where it crosses the rail trail too.
Yeah, it's a different conversation, you know, in a sense. I mean, you know, like I said, it's if it gets placed on the National Register, then you actually have the possibility of some people finding their way down to that, to take a look.
right.
I know one person anyways. No, seriously, people might seek it out that way, and, the signage there where, okay, it's here somewhere. And, of course, if that happens, then maybe there's the possibility of adding more at that point, or, making it better suit I mean, I understand what's going on with that, it's just they want to get it. Okay, we want to get this out of the way so I can check that box off. And, which is,
Right. I mean, so like when I was biking the Erie Canal, they had like displays, like,
right, yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
but they were different. Like different towns did different things. Some towns did nothing.
I believe, it's a good thing we have these things, huh?
Here's another one.
Canal dams.
That's great. Yeah, that's a ton of information.
Right, which is
Yeah.
like, you take a page from the documentation and then
If you go down to the Fishway in Holyoke, they have great documentation there. It's not open this year.
I mean, and I guess this is more typical. It's not of a canal, but this is just a different historic site.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's a beautiful sign. Iron.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the one bronzed and painted. And
Yeah, those are, what date is on that?
That's 1999.
That's when people, they could afford to do things like that back then.
Well, I mean, we could
Require
ask.
that?
We could ask them to do something more than just aluminum and.
Right. Yeah, when he was talking about that with Carl last month, and he was saying, well, it's going to be a vinyl on aluminum, and I don't know what the lifespan of those kind of signs are.
It's not.
That's the same as like this is how street signs are made.
Yeah.
So like it's got the same lifespan of like a stop sign,
Which is not very long,
25, 30 years.
not even.
I mean,
Down the bottom of our street hasn't lasted that long.
well, some of them, but like it's that type of. It's not the highway sign because the highway standards are different. They use like.
So you think they last quite? I mean, I really don't have any idea.
I bet a sign like a vinyl sign like this, if it's, as long as they're using UV protected
Right, yeah.
Vinyl, it'll last 20 years. Like if you go along the rail trail and you see where the signs were put up, like along the way, you can kind of judge that they've been there for a while.
It's also a way of doing it raised, and then it would last.
Like embossed
longer.
letters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we can ask him. This was like the wrong ones.
The Chesapeake and Ohio Canal is 184 miles, so it's a national park.
Yeah, they're great.
Beautiful.
A nice linear park
Yeah,
that goes
that's
down.
beautiful.
Imagine.
Really beautiful.
I wanted to, we were down that way last summer, I wanted to check it out, but we got sidetracked at NT.
And sidetracked in Antietam.
I'll have to
Well,
ask
you know.
Marty the signs they did for Pascomic Trust for some of the areas too,
Yeah.
where they did them.
Yeah, it's good. Of course, just obviously, there's no pictures of our canal.
Right. But there, I mean, there are
there?
somewhere. Carl Watlers has them.
Does he have pictures of
He's got
the
lots
actual
of-
pictures, or is it just kind of drawings and pictures after the canal was already
Even
closed?
drawings would be nice.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Just saying, it's, some of these have a lot of pictures, like Erie Canal, because it never really ceased.
Right.
All right.
Is there, I know there was no town clock update, is there any information about the school reuse?
I don't know what's going on with that project. I know that the last I had heard, they were like, there was some. The city still owns the buildings. They were trying to do the purchase and sale, and something was holding it up. But I don't know.
Because they had already picked the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like my understanding is it's still going forward, but essentially the person who wants to buy it is like wanting to essentially wait until all their financing is they don't want to own the buildings until they're ready to start construction.
Right.
Which makes sense, and for whatever reason the city is still like either okay with that or
I noticed also that the building on Rotary is for sale.
Auction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was on the building reuse committee for that building. And there were restrictions placed on that.
they were never placed. They're not binding. They were, as part of the purchase and sale, they were placed as like we accept your proposal pursuant to the fact that you will not be demolishing it, but they were not a binding restriction. It's not a historic preservation restriction or anything like that. So any future owner could demolish those buildings. They'd have to come to the historic commission and have a demo delay hearing.
Because we did 3 buildings at one time, and it was supposedly, they were never supposed to be demolished.
Well, the city council, the mayor, whomever, did not follow through with those wishes, and it was never properly recorded to make it binding.
Well, I think we may be getting involved with those soon then.
Yep.
Because the people that bought it they were gonna restore the porches that were originally on the building, and none of that ever happened.
My understanding is they paid about $400,000 for the buildings in 2002. They wanted $2 million for it, and recently I talked to a contractor who will remain nameless, but he called me up and saying, "Can I knock that building down?" And I said, "No, you can't. You'd have to go through, But he's like, it's not worth anything. He said he wouldn't buy it for $200,000. But it's got, he can't, it doesn't have anything that he wants except the site. And then D&D Auto right next to it, which
Is that up for sale too?
I don't know if it's on the market or.
There's people around every now and then.
I knew someone who had bought it. She had been a student of mine. She's an engineer. And she was gonna renovate it and put in some type of dog school and something, but I haven't seen or heard from her in a
Well, I don't
long
want
time.
uneducated
Sarah.
dogs around.
So,
Yeah, I've talked to her a few times. So I couldn't tell. I didn't know what her plan with it is.
There was,
But I assume for the right price, she would sell it to someone who wants to.
about 2 weeks ago, there was somebody, it might have been her, measuring around the edges of the property and marking, with a wheel and some paint, so.
She is an engineer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry about that news, but I mean, unless someone comes through, I mean, I think it's also important if you all want to double down on getting the demo delay ordinance passed,
Yeah. we haven't
because
heard
right
anything
now
about
it's
that. I was just thinking.
a 6-month delay.
All right.
Just need to get, we did all that work on it.
Because when I was on that committee, I know someone who will remain unnamed, he and I argued about the 3 buildings every time, and he said, well, we could just tear it down and put in a CVS.
Must have been Mike Burley.
Hmm?
Tom Brown.
You got it.
You Dunkin' Donuts, a lot of space between the two of them on Northampton Street. Oh, boy.
That was Parsons Street School, and then the old School admin building next to the Episcopal Church.
The old high school's fairly small, smaller than Parsons Street, right?
Yeah, it's apparently like it's only like 1,600 or 2,000 square feet inside
Yeah.
in the Memorial Hall building. Like it's a very small building, and it's on 2 floors, and you need to put an elevator to make it accessible, and it's pretty, but it's like
Yeah, that could be a problem. Somebody will get a deal out of it.
but it needs I mean, it's the basement's leaking.
You're talking about Pepin School?
No,
or
Memorial
Hall.
It's constantly flooding, and it's
Casey tried to buy it,
Yep.
and they wouldn't accept his offer, and so it went up for bid again.
I'm glad. I bet he's glad he didn't end up with it.
Maybe.
Would have been a good space for him.
Yeah, plenty of parking.
Yeah.
Maybe. What kind of kitchen does it have?
Well, the other place he's in now didn't have a kitchen either. That was the.
That's true, the watch place, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That had no kitchen because it was insurance on one side and the watch place
Yeah,
on the other. So he built that out. But he had put a bid in and they didn't accept it. I didn't understand why.
It's September something, right? When the auction takes place.
I don't know. But if they have a minimum bid, it's if they put in a minimum bid, it may remain with no bidders.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, when they put in their bid, they were going to do all kinds of things to it.
anything else that we did not reasonably anticipate? Or anything you want to backtrack on?
Do you folks want to put in the? I can reach out again to. I forget, it was Owen or Tom Peak about the demo delay, but I would get him. I will like submit it, but with you as the contact, so that way you can coordinate with him about it.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, that'd be great. The 3 of us are lefties and the 2 of you are righties.
We have to kick her off the committee.
Yes. Yes. Unless she joins, and then we'd have 3 righties, 3
Okay.
lefties.
It's weird.
My uncle was ambidextrous.
I'm ambidextrous, but no one can read what I write with my left
No, I
hand.
can do
No one can read what I write with my
I have a
I
friend
can't
in
read
college who
mine.
was a lefty, and she wrote like this. She slanted it like someone who was right-handed, but she wrote left-handed. I never could figure out how her wrist didn't get broken.
Yeah.
I used to it.
No, I used to do it. Everything I used to do right-handed.
Everything.
Scissors.
You just smudge everything as you write.
Right.
It's smudged anyways, doesn't matter.
All right.
Alright. So
End
did
the video, or?
Next meeting is
you say September? I'm sorry, June 12th?
June 12th. Yeah, September.
June 12th.
Okay.
That's
I
actually.
believe that's correct.
Okay.
So actually, before you adjourn,
Yep, June 12th.
action items for the signage is, Mike, you're gonna look and see if you wanna make any modifications to the text.
Yep.
And does anyone else wanna look into that as well, or?
I mean, I can informally look. I'm not
Yeah,
guaranteeing any.
I can spend about 3 minutes on it.
I could even
We'll
do
make
5 minutes.
Yeah.
a decision. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn our
Second.
meeting tonight.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.